What if you could make using a CRM fun? For lots of companies, mainstream CRM adoption is a challenge on the best of days. One way to encourage your commercial teams to use your CRM system is by showing them its added value for their particular work. Because let's face it, it doesn't matter how good your CRM is if people aren't willing to use it. One of the ways to lure your commercial teams into Zoho CRM is with the Motivator. Motivator in Zoho CRM highlights the commercial aspect of customer data management and shows that CRM doesn't have to be a necessary evil, nor is it simply a storage space for your leads and customer data. Motivator allows you to emphasize and visualize commercial goals clearly, from individual targets to global ones. That way, your CRM becomes a centralized place where your commercial teams can track their performance. It also allows you to add an element of gamification to keep competitive souls on their toes. This isn't just to make things feel fun, it's also because competitive gamification can lead to a traceable improvement in performance. So let's jump into Motivator in Zoho CRM and see how you can set it up for yourself. To access Motivator in Zoho CRM, click the settings icon in the top right corner of your screen and go to the general settings and choose Motivator. Next, you'll see what the Motivator allows you to do, such as tracking KPIs and targets, setting up games for your teams, and setting up TV channels to display progress throughout your office. Once you access Motivator, the fun can begin. Once you access the Motivator, it'll show you a couple of different options for what you can do. So besides the 4 options I've already mentioned, you'll also be able to set up teams within the Motivator and to create dashboards that can be displayed within your software to show your teams their progress. So let's try to create a marketing KPI for new leads that are created. You're going to click Create KPI, give your KPI a descriptive name, and then select the module that you want to apply the KPI to. So in this case, it'll be leads. And then the record selection will be the created time in the period. So how many leads were created in the given period. After that, you're going to decide if you want to apply any criteria to your records. So you can choose to do it for all records, or you can set certain qualifying criteria. So for me, I want to track only the leads that are created in the Netherlands and Denmark, since this account is for the Benelux and the Nordics. But you will see that you have a lot of different options for criteria. So you're simply going to choose your criteria from the drop-down list and then add any custom information that needs to be filled in. You're not limited to one qualifying criteria, so you can add multiple. Simply click on the plus button and add your variable and set your qualifying criteria. You can even choose if it's an and or an or condition, meaning that if you add country as the Netherlands and Denmark and something else, then both criteria need to be met in order for the lead to qualify. If you select or, then one of the criteria will have to be met for the lead to qualify. Then you can also decide how many points each qualified record is worth. So if you say that one lead that meets the criteria is worth 1 point, then that's what's being taken into consideration when you set up the KPI tracker. But you can also toggle the use the value of the field as points setting. This is helpful for if you're assigning points per, for instance, the annual revenue of a lead, or the conversion time of a lead, or the number of employees that a lead has. For the purposes of this example, I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm going to say that one lead that meets the criteria is worth 1 point, and I'm going to assign that 1 point to the person who created the lead. Next, I'm going to use the KPI that we just created to create a target. So I'm going to go to the target settings, and you will see which KPIs I have to base the targets on. Then I'm going to go start to create my first target. Once again, I'm going to have to give my target a name, and I'm going to choose a name that's descriptive, that refers back to what my KPI is. And so in this case, my KPI is marketing leads generated. So I'm going to call this target very simple, marketing leads goals. But you could give it whatever name you choose. Then I'm going to select that I'm going to keep this as a monthly target. And I'm going to keep it as an individual target, but you could also choose company or team target. I only have one user in this system, so that makes it simple. I can only choose myself, but you could select a team, or you could select any number of users. And then you can decide how many points they should reach. So for myself, I'm choosing 10 leads this month that are in the Netherlands and Denmark. Then you can also select a badge to be chosen once you achieve this target. So you're just going to click on create, and then you will see your newly created target with 0 out of 10 as the target hasn't been reached yet. Now that we have performance metrics to keep track of, you will see that it automatically creates a dashboard. So you will go to dashboards, and then you will see that your KPI and your target are both listed there. Then I'm going to set up a TV channel so that my team can see their performance displayed in the office. And for that, I'm going to go to TV channels. I'm going to select which component I want to show first, which for me is the KPI, and that's the KPI marketing leads generated. I'm going to select which type of KPI is being displayed, which user it belongs to, and for which month it is shown. And then I'm simply going to click create, and you will see my screen there. I'm going to add a second screen, which is going to be the target, so same procedure as before. And there you have it. And now that we've created these two screens, you can do the preview. So you will just click on the preview button, and it will show you exactly what the screen will look like when you display it in your office. And at this time, it's showing these different screens at 5-second intervals, but you can adjust the time frame to your liking. Finally, you can give your TV channel a name, and that will just ensure that you know which screens you're looking at where. So you could set up multiple screens for multiple teams, multiple departments, anyone that use CRM. Finally, with the example that I've chosen, it's a pretty sad display, but I just want to show how easy it would be to create a team. So you're going to go to Teams, and you're going to click on Create Teams. Then you're going to be able to give your team a name, add the users that you want, add the team lead of that team, select even a logo if you want your team to have a logo, and then you would simply create that team. You can also choose to look at achievements, so you can have a whole trophy room within your CRM, and that will just add a little extra competitiveness. But if that competition wasn't quite enough, you can also add an extra element of gamified friendly competition between your individuals or your teams with the games module. So you're going to go to games, you're going to create a game, you're going to create the game name, you're going to select the KPI that's the determining factor for that game, select the game type, whether it's individual or for the team, and then you're going to select the players that can be individuals, must be minimum 2, or it can be teams. And then you're going to set the duration of the game. So for how long do you want the game to play? When do you want it to start? When do you want it to finish? And does it need to repeat ever? And then you set that term. And who can view the game? And that brings us to the conclusion of this brief walkthrough of Motivator in Zoho CRM. Brief facts about Motivator in Zoho CRM are that it's included in Zoho CRM plans from professionals and above. It's super easy to configure. As you can see, I'm not a programmer and no programming is required. You only need to know roughly how your organization is set up. And finally, it's available to test with a free trial of 15 days when you sign up for Zoho CRM. I hope this was helpful, but stay tuned for more tips and tricks and DIY videos about Zoho CRM.